It is time. Hey friends, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be decorating my kitchen for fall, and I'm going to be doing it in classic colors. Of course, we'll have some pumpkins and maybe even a few friendly squirrels. Only friendly squirrels allowed, of course. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's just jump right in. The sun is shining so nicely through my sun bubble skylight there at the ceiling. So God gave us a beautiful bright day to film. And as usual, here's a quick overview of how my kitchen currently looks before we begin decorating. You may have noticed that I do have a new coffee maker there in the corner. That is my coffee bar area. And by the way, that is the area where we'll begin decorating today. And for those who are new, I'm going to just pan around really quick and show you the layout of my kitchen. We'll be decorating to the left of the stove and of course the area above my refrigerator and pantry as well. For my coffee bar, I often like to start off with a tray, and today is no exception. A tray is the perfect way to provide a focal point and group things together, making them look less cluttered. In the meantime, I'm going to add these mugs to my mug holder. Now, I recently picked up this sweet little lamp from Walmart. And here I'm showing you the different settings. I was going to go with this brighter setting, but as soon as I saw it against the wall, I thought it might be messing with the filming, so I turned it down to dim right here. Okay, now back to the tray. I found this picture from Amazon, and it came with that picture already in it, and I thought it would work really well for fall, so I'm just going to leave it in as is. And next I'm going to add in my coffee syrups, among which is my pumpkin spice one because 'tis the season. And then in keeping with those gold tones for fall, I'm going to add in these gold spoons. I like all the warm tones. I like copper for fall as well, but I happen to have the gold, so that's what I'm using today. And now I'm going to add this little towel from Hobby Lobby. It also came in like a green as well as kind of a wine red. And now I have some packets of raw sugar. And I also will have cream here in just a second. And so you don't have to wait for me while I'm fussing, I will speed the camera up for you. And since I also have room in that little corner for something, I'm going to add my tea as well. Next, I have 2 glass pumpkins to add, a smaller one right here that holds my candy. And as you can see, I've already filled it with candy corn. And I also have this larger pumpkin, and this is what I'm going to use to hold my coffee. I believe both of these glass pumpkins were from the Dollar General. And now I'm going to add this little arrangement that I picked up from Burlington. If you're not familiar with Burlington, it's connected with TJ Maxx and HomeGoods. I don't know if they're everywhere in the United States, but I think they have really good prices. For example, that arrangement was only $10.99, which I think might be cheaper than what you would even find at a HomeGoods or a TJ Maxx. Before we move on to my open shelves, I'm going to give you a quick overview of this coffee bar area, and you'll see that I added one more thing, and that is this black serving bowl from Walmart. And if you're wondering, I found it in the kitchen area, so it should be food safe. The apples that are in it right now are fake, but they are adorable, aren't they? Now moving on to my open shelves, I'm starting off with this Studio Mickey candle, as well as this cutting board. This cutting board is from Hobby Lobby. I do use it year-round, however, I normally flip it the other way, but since we're in fall, I'm going to show the pumpkins. And now I'm going to add this riser from TJ Maxx. It didn't come with a glass dome, but I have a lot of different domes that I use interchangeably for my bases. So I went and found this one, and I do have a treat that's going to go under there, so I have to go and get that. And once again, I'm moving things around. I wanted to move the cutting board towards the middle because I have these gold grinders, and I feel like the warm tones of the cutting board help to kind of set off or accentuate the gold of the grinders, if that makes sense. And now I'm adding this simple wooden riser. A little riser like this can take ordinary items like glasses and make them seem a little bit extraordinary just by elevating them. And now to kind of set off the candle, I'm going to add a little bit of fall greenery and also this sweet little squirrel. He's kind of an antique gold, I guess you'd say. And he's just gonna sit here and chew on his acorn. I think that's what he's got, but he's gonna mind his own business. So these are from Walmart, and these are called carrot cake sandwich cookies. So apparently they're supposed to taste like carrot cake. I'm staying away from sugar right now, but I knew my son would love these because his favorite cake is carrot cake. And now we're going to go to the top shelf and decorate that. So I'm starting with this antique crock, and I did pick this up at an antique store. And then to that, I'm adding these candle tops, or I guess you call them lids, down inside the pot for risers because I have this faux plant. It's from Target, and I didn't want it to sink way down into the pot. I believe this is called a faux Zebrina plant. Sometimes the leaves are purple. And then to add some more wood tones to the top shelf, I'm adding another cutting board, and I am struggling to reach the top here, which is why I'm going a little bit slow to make sure it doesn't fall back down on top of me. And then this picture came from Walmart. It's part of their new home decor collection, and that is what they call it, home decor collection. But I love the colors on it, and I think it could be used for everyday decor, not just for fall. And you may notice me pulling that cutting board out just a little bit because I wanted that warm tone to peek out a little bit better. Next, I'm adding this riser from Creative Co-op, and to the riser, I'm adding this thrifted teapot. Creative Co-op does tend to be a little more pricey, but if I'm purchasing things that can cross seasons, I'm more likely to invest the money. And lastly, you probably saw me add in that snuffer as well. I wanted to sneak in a little more gold on that top shelf. And now I'm giving you a quick overview of how these open shelves turned out, as well as the coffee bar below. And next we'll move on to decorating the area to the left of my sink.
Tick-tock, the clock keeps ticking. I don't know what I should do, and I wish you would be right here with me. My mind is filled with pictures.
So knowing how much I love kitties, my dad made me this cat cutting board. He also made one for my sister because she's a cat lover too, and of course my mom is also. And he can just sit there and watch me do the dishes. And then I'm going to add this little candle holder. Now it's going to look like it's crooked, but it is a little bit crooked in here, but it's more the angle, so I do fix it later.
I'm thinking of you, wondering if you're thinking.
And then I recently picked up this riser from TJ Maxx. You can never have enough risers, I guess. And then I'm going to add this little vase of flowers. I really like this deep purple color for fall. Now you may recognize this bottle from last year. I think it's a really pretty, moody brown glass bottle, and so I just refilled it and I'm using it again. Hopefully I don't offend anybody by reusing it, but I really like it. And then there's one thing I've been wanting to show you that I think every home should have, and it's an eye wash like this, because if you get something in your eye, it is so nice to have. When I was a little girl and I would get something in my eye, I'd run to my mom and she would fill like a big mixing bowl of water, and I'd have to stick my whole head in there and nearly drown myself trying to get it out of my eye. And so that little eye wash is so much handier. So I know that this pumpkin really can't be used on the stove, but I think it looks really pretty here. And then I'm going to add this little thankful pumpkin so that when I am standing there cooking and I don't feel like cooking, I'm going to look up at that thankful and remember to be thankful that I have food to cook. I hope I'm not the only one that gets tired of the daily grind of coming up with ideas. I think coming up with the ideas is almost the hardest thing. And I always laugh when I see that meme that goes around the internet and it goes, I hate when I'm waiting for mom to cook dinner. And then I remember that I am the mom and I have to cook dinner. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy cooking a lot of the time, but you know, sometimes I'm just not feeling it. Fortunately for me, my husband enjoys cooking and he likes to cook on his grill, especially on Sundays. So that's kind of my day off, you might say. Maybe it sounds crazy, but I would rather bake than cook. For me, those are completely different. Back to the decorating. If you didn't notice, those squirrels are salt and pepper shakers. And now I'm adding in this pear pitcher from Hobby Lobby. It was a recent find. Also from Hobby Lobby were these gold candle holders. One was $7 and the shorter one was $6, and I'm adding some flameless candles to them. And then I found these ribbed or scalloped, I don't know what you'd call them, but these bowls from Walmart. I just think they're really pretty, and sometimes it's nice to have bowls handy like this on the counter. And then I'm going to add this vase from Amazon, which I thought would be bigger when I bought it. That's the bad thing about buying online, right? But I think it works okay right here. And to it, I added some greenery. If I'm not mistaken, this greenery was from Target last year, but I could be mistaken about that. I'm sorry that I can't remember for sure. If you happen to know, please let me know in the comments. Now I'm giving you a quick overview of this part of my kitchen, and next I'm going to move on to just a simple arrangement for my table, which I'm going to be making out of a couple of thrifted items and just some things I had around the house. So I'm starting off with this greenery wreath, which I dug out of my decor room. It's just meant for everyday decor, but I'm going to add some color to it, some fall color. And so I'm using this stem, I believe from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just kind of pulling off some of the little, I don't know what you'd even call it. Would you call those flowers? I don't think so. But I'm just kind of sticking them in randomly, and I can always pull them out later and use it as an everyday decor wreath once again. And then also, while I was digging around my decor room, I found this bowl, which I thrifted probably 3 years ago for a quarter, maybe 50 cents at the most. And I added just a wood slice riser to the bottom of it. And so I'm just going to lay the wreath on the rim of the bowl. And then also thrifted was this candle holder. I think I spent maybe 99 cents for it at the most. You can probably get something like that similar at the Dollar Tree as well. And of course I added the candle, which I also had, so it's amazing what you can do with what you have if you just look around. Now this isn't probably the prettiest part of my kitchen, but I make the best of it. So I'm adding this pumpkin charcuterie board first, and then I also have this little, I guess you'd call it a wicker pumpkin, which is from Hobby Lobby. And then next I'm adding a cheese dome or dessert cloche, because you don't have to use it just for cheese. You can put cupcakes under the dome or whatever you want. Of course, I'm from Wisconsin, so maybe some people would prefer I call it a cheese dome. And then I'm adding some pictures. This first picture is the smaller of the two, and it's just going to have some fall greenery in it that sort of drapes down. I really like the look of greenery that kind of flows over like that over the side. And then the second part is technically not connected with the rest of the greenery, but I'm going to kind of lay it out like garland so that it looks like it's all coming out of the picture. I'm guessing you're really tired of looking at the back of my head, and I cannot blame you. So I'm speeding the camera up for you. This just isn't the best angle to film at, so a lot of times I decorate it off camera. But I'll be done in just a second here. And as you can see, I went ahead and added some twinkle lights as well. There's really nothing more cozy, in my opinion, for fall than twinkle lights. For Christmas too, for that matter. I have always loved lights. I hope you don't mind if I take just a moment to stop and introduce myself. My name is Rachel, as I said earlier. My family and I live in the beautiful woods of Wisconsin. I'm a homeschooling mom. My husband and I have been married for 21 years. That makes me feel so old to say that, but we have 3 children and 7 cats. We all love cats. And in fact, in just a moment, I will close this video out along with one of my little furry feline friends. My channel is all about home decor and homemaking, so if that sounds like content you might be interested in, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And now I will wrap this video up face to face. I hope this video entertained you or inspired you and that you just overall enjoyed it. And if you did, I would love it if you would give it a like. That really helps out small channels like mine. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, stay thankful.